Sound. Thank you, Chris. It's because we had to reset. There was no sound on it. So, thank you for that. Right, you've not missed much. All you're finding is that this acetone, although it changes the colour when it dries again, it sort of goes white. It goes back to being white. But does it go back as bad as it was? That is the question. I don't think it actually does it? So let's keep going and we'll see what happens. So yeah, episode 13 of this show is proving to be a little bit problematical. We tried to do it last week, as I say, because YouTube is rubbish, and also because Utility Warehouse and TalkTalk, who are my internet service providers, are also equally rubbish. All things sort of conspired against us last week, so it didn't work terribly well last week. In fact, we gave up in the end. But here we are this week, and then this week we're having computers crashing and all kinds of things as well. So loads and loads of bother. But this is doing something, I think. I'm pretty sure it's actually doing something. It feels smooth. When you do it with the neat acetone, it makes the surface rough. But it does smooth it out again when you do it with the watered down. So you don't need the methylated spirits. It said in my other video that I cut the acetone with methylated spirits, as it said in my video, the alternative to the retrobright process. Apparently you don't need the methylated spirits, you can do it with water, which is what we're doing here. But the thing is, it's going white again. And now this hasn't happened with other phones that I've done. And this white is weird because the phones that I restore don't normally go white. They normally discolour by going yellow. So the blue ones, and this is actually technically Concord blue, normally end up going sort of greeny colour. But this has gone white, so I'm wondering if something else has happened to this plastic, and it's not just on the surface, it's right through the plastic, and that's why I can't get the discoloration off. You know, I'm wondering if it's something else that's caused the problem with this, because I don't know if you can see it or not, but the discoloration is coming back a little bit, not as bad as it was, but it is coming back a bit. So we'll just keep rubbing and see how we go. But of course the acetone evaporates quickly, so you're kind of just left with the water. Now, the bit I'm doing, of course, is at this end, which you can't see very well. But does it look any better? I have to say, to my eyes, it doesn't. Because as you leave it, it seems to go white again. So there's something odd going on with the plastic of this phone. Now, it's got a few streaks on this side. This is where I just dribbled acetone, neat acetone down it, and you can see here it's come out nice and shiny. Now I'm wondering if you could spray neat acetone on. If you could take the case off and just with a very fine spray the acetone on, because where I actually washed it with acetone here, the discoloration has gone, but here I think we're going to struggle to get rid of it. So because we know the neat acetone got rid of it on there, let's put some on here. I've just dropped the top off the bottle of acetone, so bear with me 1 second. I retrieve it. Right, I've retrieved it. Right, so on this side, let's have a go at that bit there. Okay. Is that going back to the colour it should be? Is that getting there? That's the question. Is that getting there? It's best to work in very small areas if you can, I find with this. And at one point you'll feel bits appear on the surface. When you feel bits appear on the surface, that's when you're doing something right, from my experience. So remember, there was a white line down there, so everything this side was white and everything that side was the correct sort of bluey greeny colour. So it's made a difference, but will that go back to being as white as that bit still is there? If I just leave it for a few seconds, what do you think will happen? See, the other thing is, it could be something in the cloth that the acetone is bringing some colour out of this rag that I'm using. So that's the other thing that I'm wondering, if that's having some kind of effect on it. But there you go, stipple the acetone on, you see. It stops being white almost immediately. Can you see that? But obviously the surface isn't shiny then. Now you can see the difference that's made. But it is going white again, so there's obviously something on that surface we've got to wash off, isn't there? And when I dribbled acetone down this bit a long time ago, that obviously washed it off. So I'm wondering now if spraying them might be better. You can certainly, the normal yellowy sort of discoloration you can normally get rid of with acetone, but this white discoloration doesn't seem to be disappearing as easily. So I am now wondering if actually spraying a case with acetone might be the way to do it. And I believe that's the way they do it in America, or did it in America, with the 500 series phones. When they refurbished 500s in America, I do believe they had a machine that sprayed the cases. They took the cases off and it sprayed them with acetone to refinish the surface of the plastic of the cases. That's what I'm told anyway. Don't know how true it is, but that's just a rumour that I've heard. Well, I'd say it's certainly not as white as it was, that. So I reckon that might be at least a partial winner. It's certainly not as white as it was, but let me keep going for a bit and we'll see where we get to with it. While I'm doing this, I might as well also tell you that obviously if you want to get in touch with us, you can do through the website. andyshed.colepress.net is the old website there. If you want to get in touch with us, we'll put a caption up with it towards the end of the show. And if you want to get in touch with us, you'll find a contact us form on there where you can get in touch with us. Yeah, it's definitely better, I think. It's not perfect, but it's better. But there's some whiteness now appearing down here where there wasn't any before. So what is it with this particular phone? It's really, really odd, this one. Maybe I'm just not putting enough acetone on to sort of wash the surface clean. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe I'm trying to work in too big an area at a time as well. I'll just do this very front bit. Just keep going round and round on this front bit. See what happens. And then turn my rag over, get a clean bit. Let's see if we can buff it up. It does take some elbow grease, this. What do you think? Bit hard to tell under this light, isn't it? But it's certainly smooth. Right. Let's go back to the acetone and water one. Now, and see if that actually... I put plenty of that on my cloth, really soak my cloth in it. Now, will that now? Sort of clean off the whole surface. Now that looks better, but will it go white when it dries? I have a nasty feeling it might. Let's have a look. Right, I'll just leave that to dry a minute. I was talking to you about the website a minute ago. There's the web address if you want to get in touch with us, andyshed.colepress.net. And remember, if you want to follow us on Patreon as well, if you want to give us a penny or two on Patreon, for just the equivalent of $1 a month, you can get your name on the credits. Then you can find all about that here. It's www.patreon.com/andyshed. Right, I think that's doing something, that. I've absolutely doused it. Christopher 2000 says it looks better. I agree with you, Chris. I think it does look better. But the question is, will it still look better when it dries? It couldn't look any worse, could it? Because it was really terrible. That white was really, really bad on this. But yeah, it does look better. Now, it's not a shiny surface now because I've put neat acetone on it, and the neat acetone makes it not shiny. I can see it's like it's been sanded with very fine sandpaper. But now when I touch it now, I can start to feel those little bits appearing, and that's normally because you're taking something off the surface. and that happens, and you have to sort of rub through that until it goes shiny again. And when it goes shiny again, then you've kind of got rid of it. And you can probably see the bits on there actually as well. Can you see them? Now, if you can rub through that and get rid of those, then you normally end up with a very nice finish. So, are we getting anywhere with that? Green cloth. Right, that front bit there now looks quite shiny again. That's that front corner compared to the rest of it. The test will come when we've left it for a few hours and seen what's happened to it. But I'm now wondering if there's something coming out of this cloth. I'm wondering if I'd have been better doing this with a bit of white cotton rag or something like that. You know, an old cotton bedsheet, an old cotton pillow slip or something like that. Alright, that feels shiny again now. Sorry, I'm not holding it under the camera very well, am I? But that all feels very shiny there again now. But there is still some discoloration to it. I can still see some discoloration, but it's smooth as smooth can be. That really is. It's better. It's not perfect, but it is better. So this white, whatever it is, you can get it off with this acetone and water mix. But getting it off is not easy. Cracky, there's a few more people watching now. Hello there. If you're watching this live, we are experimenting with getting this white bloom off of this ABS plastic telephone. And I understand that when people do the retro bright process as well, I understand they have a problem with a white bloom every now and again as well. So I wonder if somebody had tried to retro bright this previously, and that's why it was white. That's why it had this white bloom on it. I wonder if somebody had a go at that. Because like I say, they don't normally go white. It's normally a yellow discoloration which makes the phones turn from a sort of turquoisey blue colour to a bottle green colour because of the yellow discoloration. That's what normally happens. Right, and what's happening down here is it's going white again, look. Can you see that? It's going white again. So I think somebody has had a go at this with Retro Bright, and the chemicals in the Retro Bright have done something to it, to this dark colour. Right, I'm just going to go and get a little bit of abrasive polish and see if that will finish it off. Bear with me 2 seconds. I will be back in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. I will be right back. Right, I have returned, and I've returned with T-cut. Now this is a slightly abrasive polish, normally used for colour restoring cars. You want T-cut original, not the coloured version. The original version you want that's not coloured, and hopefully this will do something. Cause that feels smooth now, but hopefully this will do something to get rid of that white bloom. Because you can see it's reappearing, the white on there, isn't it? Where it wasn't before. So I'm not quite sure what's happening there. So now the surface is smooth, and we've certainly got the normal yellowy discoloration off. Let's see if a bit of this T-cut will take the white bloom off. And my first thought is, it's doing something. So let's rub that up with a different bit of my rag. We'll buff that bit up. Michael T says, try Autoglyn Vinyl Care for Cars. Oh, that's a different one. I've heard of Autoglyn, but Autoglyn Vinyl Care is not something that I've particularly heard of. What does that do, Michael? What do you think? Is that abrasive? I can't imagine it's abrasive if it's a vinyl. Is there any colour involved in that? Right, I don't think the T-cut is making much of a difference on it. There's still this oddball white bloom, and it's something that I think is peculiar to this foam, because when I've done this before, and as I say, they normally discolour a yellowy colour. It's normally not a white bloom. And when they discolour a yellowy colour, the acetone certainly works. I've done it many times. But what is this white stuff on this particular foam? What is it? Because this white stuff is weird. And you can see it's totally come back on the top of the handset. Look, it's as bad as it was previously. So something has come back on there, but what is it? What is this weird white stuff? So Michael says it's no colour, it just brings bumpers back to being black. So yeah, might have to try that. Yeah, I suppose the bumpers are vinyl, aren't they? So yeah, because bumpers go white as well, don't they? Bumpers on cars, your black bumpers, they do go white. So that oddball discoloration, that fetches it back to being black. And if there's no colour in it, and it says there's no colour in it, you're not actually painting the bumper black, you're just somehow removing the white. So yes, that's a good idea, Michael. We'll try that. Autoglyn Vinyl Care for Cars. Stay tuned. When the car spare shop's open again, I'll go and get some of that, and we'll have a go at that. Because whatever this white bloom is on this phone is very odd. I've got no idea what it is, because that is probably actually worse now than it was originally, because where it had just been dribbled with acetone and it'll wash that surface off, the white had gone. So I think I've transferred the white from other places onto that bit by rubbing it here today. So yeah, we need to do something that will get rid of the white. And just to prove that it's odd, we'll try on the top of the receiver here, just to try and get rid of some of the white with this T-cut. And I'll tell you, it'll do nothing, this. It doesn't cut enough to really cut into the plastic. But you can see there, that's done nothing other than polished it, basically. So yeah, we'll try that. So the motto of this story tonight is that if your phone is discoloured yellow and it's an ABS plastic, if whatever colour it started out seems to have had a yellow cast put onto it, so if you had an ivory coloured phone and it's gone a sort of yellowy colour, if you had the classic one is the grey phones here in the UK that go a sort of dirty brown colour, then by taking the top layer of plastic off, which you do with acetone, that will certainly work, because I've done it before. But this white bloom on this dark coloured one, this is what they call Concord blue theoretically, this just doesn't seem to go. It just moves around on the surface and you can't get it off. So I think we've proved that the white bloom, acetone, either the cheaply watered down stuff or the slightly more expensive, well, at the same price but it's a smaller bottle, neat stuff, doesn't do it. It doesn't cut the mustard, as they say. It's not very successful. But the T-cut does work as a polish, because although that looks terrible and blotchy now, when you feel it, it is actually incredibly smooth and shiny. If you get it in the right light, you know, you can sort of, well, you can see a reflection in it there, can't you, just about? Can you see a reflection in it there? So although it's blotchy, it's shiny. It's really strange. It's like the discoloration is down inside the plastic, which makes me wonder if something has happened to this phone before I got it. Something weird chemically has happened to it before I got it. So yeah, so that about wraps it up. And the brilliant thing is, the stream's not dropped out again, has it? It had a couple of drop-outy moments early on, which is why you might have found this video in 2 or 3 parts if you're watching it after the fact. But yeah, we've been trying acetone and we've been trying T-cut to restore this phone with this strange white bloom on it, and it doesn't seem to have worked. So yeah, we will go with that. Stuff. Autoglyn vinyl care for cars that Michael suggested. Thank you for that, Michael. We will try that next time. Probably try it next week if I can get hold of Eddie by next week. We'll give that a go next week. We'll try that Autoglyn stuff and we'll see if it works, because this is a phone that I'm using to try all sorts of different techniques on, you see, just to see if we can get anything to work that doesn't involve actually having to sand the blooming thing down. Right, just looking at the chat. Chris says, my GPO 706 grey phone has the brown. Yeah, that's what they all do. They all go that sort of browny, mid-brown colour. And in fact, often when you buy them on eBay, those phones, you often buy them and people say, oh, it's a GPO brown phone, and it's not, because the only brown ones that the GPO did were late on in the time of the 746, and it was a sort of chocolate brown colour, and they called them the Yeoman phone, those ones, the brown ones. But that was a really dark brown, and what you're talking about, Chris, is a sort of dirty brown colour, isn't it? It's a sort of mid-brown sort of colour. But yeah, if you watch my video, an alternative to the retro bright process, I do restore a grey phone on that has gone brown, and that is done with acetone, and that certainly takes it off. But this white on this is something different. This is something else, and I think somebody's had a go at retro brighting this, using the, what is it, peroxide or something that they use, and that, and I think somebody's had a go at this case with that, because I know for a fact that when people do retro brighting, they say if you do it on a dark colour, you do get a white bloom on it that you can't shift. I've heard people say that. But has anybody tried retro brighting? Has anybody had problems with a white bloom appearing with the retro bright process? If you have, let us know in the comments, or even if you're live on now, let us know in the chat. Chris says he didn't get his GPO phone from eBay, but it was still brown. But they're all brown these days. All the grey ones are brown to a greater or lesser degree. Whether you restore them or not is entirely up to you. Sometimes when they go discoloured, I live with it. These blue ones, when these discolour normally, they actually go quite a nice bottle green colour, and I can kind of live with that. It's not a nasty colour. And sometimes when the ivory ones just start to go, they eventually go a sort of dirty yellow, but when they just start to go, they go a nice primrosy yellow, and again I can live with that as well, particularly if it's gone evenly. Now the problem is if it's been sat in a sunny window for 10 years or something, and it's just done it on one side, and it's got like a one-sided suntan, like when you lay on the beach for too long and you fall asleep and one side's red and the other side's not. That happens. So yeah, but if you can get one that's discoloured all round, it's sometimes not too bad. Chris says he got his phone from a shop in Australia. Excellent. I'm very impressed that you managed to get a GPO phone from Britain in Australia, because that has made one heck of a long trip. So yeah, that's quite impressive. That Australian ones don't turn up. Australian phones don't turn up much in the UK, if at all. I can't think that I've ever seen one in the UK. So it is very rare to get anything from Australia or New Zealand in the UK. We get quite a lot of French stuff because a lot of antique dealers go over to France and buy lots of stuff that includes phones in France, and then bring it back and sell it in antique shops over here. And we get occasional American stuff, although you have to be careful with the American stuff because they had the 500 series in Ireland as well. And the way to tell the difference is the Irish ones just had numbers on the dials, whereas the American ones had numbers and letters on the dials. So if you see a 500 that's just got numbers on the dials, that is probably an Irish one. Whereas if it's got numbers and letters, it's an American one. Right, I think that about wraps it up for today. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I hope the dropouts and problems with the stream earlier on didn't cause too many problems for you. As I said earlier, if you want to get in touch with us and have a chat, or you've got any ideas on how we might sort out this discoloured phone, get on the website and look for the contact us form on there and send me a message. It's andyshed.colepress.net is the old website there. And if you want to support us on Patreon so we can make more videos like this, hopefully where we'll be a bit more successful at doing stuff, then that's at www.patreon.com/AndysShed. But as I say, that about wraps it up for this week. I will be back same time, same place next week, all being well, and hopefully there might be a few recorded videos being released through the week of me doing other things as well, because I've got 1 or 2 pre-recorded things to put out. So if you're still in lockdown, isolation, whatever you want to call it, and you're feeling a bit bored, make sure you've subscribed, and make sure you also click that notification bell if you're watching on YouTube as well, so you get notified whenever I upload another video. So, from me for now, until next time, thanks to everybody who's been contributing in the chat today, and thanks to everybody for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, remember to like and subscribe. If you're watching on the new library platform at library.tv or using the library app, then remember to give us a follow on there as well, and also why not support us with a tip or two on there, because the more people who tip the videos on library, the more people get to see the videos on library, because it kind of goes to the top of the searching. Right, that's it. That really is it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye for now.